All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash is all praises to who the world calls God and Jesus Christ. Their true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. I want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, which are preaching this word in truth and sincerity, and all diligence and love to the saints. You know, this is another lesson coming out for the Hebrew Israelites, which the Hebrew Israelites biblically and all correctness and truth go back to the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the confusion to face out there that have been mingled among these other nations that end up looking like them, but their line, according to their fathers, go back to Israel. And if your spirit resonates with this truth coming out, and you can get down with this, and you know, you take heed to this warning, you whether or not you look like Donald Trump's cousin or you look like John Shaft, man, you're an Israelite. You know, this is just a stern warning, man. Because this right here, this is a sign of the time that the Lord is getting ready to pull his word off the street. And with the Lord pulling his word off the street, man, that's big, man. Because when the warning's going out, it says, blow you the trumpet in Mount Zion and give them warning for me. So at a certain time, you know, you're going to be blowing that trumpet, letting everybody know, hey, get your shit, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. But at a certain point, the person that's giving warning, he has to be able to get out and do what he needs to do too. So pretty soon the Lord's going to take those men that he set up to give this warning, to get Israel right, to have them come back to the Heavenly Father and be in the right spirit so they can be saved. Pretty soon the Lord's going to take those men off the street, because he's not going to allow this word to be pushed out through the unicorn, as it says in, I believe it's the book of Psalms, the 19th chapter, which is the internet, because the scriptures prophesied about the internet, man. That's how knowledge would be increased. The Lord's going to pull his men off the highways and byways, and this word won't be going out anymore. And that means the end is coming fast right there, man. You know? So I'm going to read a little bit of this, man. It says, court approves $85 billion AT&T purchase of Time Warner. Now, if brothers don't know what Time Warner is, it's a production company, has a bunch of subsidiaries like the CW, Warner Brothers, TNT, and the subsidiary is basically Time Warner would be in control of all those, you know, those streaming and media things that I just pulled out right now. So when AT&T takes over, then they can sit there and fix the prices so they can get more money for people being able to view those services on cable and all that stuff. Now, why this is so big is because you have this going through, and this is due to the net neutrality in, which net neutrality is going to sit here and basically shut down the internet for people to only be able to use certain sites based off of bundling. And if they don't pay for the bundle, then they have to pay to use that specific site that their internet service provider does not have a bundle with. And that's going to get the word off the street, man, because, you know, we're poor in this thing, man. We're not rich men in this truth. The Lord wasn't a rich man himself. So having to pay whatever price that they're going to put on it, and you know they're going to make YouTube the most expensive, because that's where the truth is being pushed out on. You know, men aren't going to be able to get this word. Now, let me get this precept real quick. This 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. And this is one of Satan's devices, man. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of the article. I'm going to go to the video that's associated with it. And then I'm going to get into a few more precepts and close this out. It says, if you have a AT&T cell phone or cable service, you are about to start subsidizing CNN, HBO, under the term and HBO under the terms of the $85 billion landmark merger approved by the federal judge over the Trump administration's obligations. The merger was announced in late 2016, but has been challenged by the Department of Justice last November. On Tuesday, U.S. District Court Judge Richard Leon ruled against the government, allowing the deal worth an estimated $85 billion to go ahead. AT&T urged the acquisition would enable the company to reinvent itself in the age of streaming media. Now I'm gonna jump down. It says, this is precisely the kind of nightmare scenario advocates of the net neutrality pointed in an alarm, with internet providers being in position to prioritize their own content and throttle that of rival companies. Net neutrality regulations imposed by Obama administration in 2015 were overturned by the FCC in December. The ruling went into effect on Monday. Now, they're hitting on this net neutrality because all this stuff is going back to them, monetizing the internet. You have to pay to use every single website, basically. So, big media websites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Disney's buying out Fox. All these mergers that are going to happen is just going to be controlled by several huge entities, man. And those mergers are going to be controlled by these internet companies. Like, you're going to have Cox, you're going to have AT&T, you're going to have Sprint, you're going to have what's another one? Forgetting all the DirecTV. You're going to have all these internet service providers that are actually going to set the page for what content is going to be free towards each one of those internet providers, and who and how much is going to cost if you're not a part of that bundle and a part of that service. Now, I'm going to go to this video because it'll get into it a little more. It's going to be like 5 minutes, but it's good. It's good, informative 5 minutes.
So for more on this, we'll go now to Mike Papantonio, host of America's Lawyer, right here on RT. Mike, great to see you. So the AT&T Time Warner deal has been on the docket since 2016. What is the danger to consumers? Should the DOJ allow this merger to happen? If you can explain antitrust in a nutshell, if you can.
Yeah. Well, antitrust law in the United States is designed to prevent the formation of monopolies that drive out competition, and that's exactly what this AT&T Time Warner merger is going to do. And with this merger comes two major threats to Americans. The first and most obvious is it leads to a limited number of viewpoints that are expressed in the media. Now, we already had that when Bill Clinton gave us this train wreck that we have right now. This is part of the train wreck when he signed the Telecommunications Act. So limited number of viewpoints is what we live with already, which then leads to this. And by the way, that's the only good news is because of this concept of limited viewpoints is Zucker probably needs to go get another job. That's the only good thing that comes out of this. They've got to get rid of the guy. AT&T has enough sense to know that. But other than that, there's nothing good that comes out of this. It leads to dumbed down public. The second issue is that it could lead to a major spike in prices that consumers have to pay when competition is pushed out of the market, and the choice factor is taken out of the equation. But again, the bigger issue isn't just the dollars and cents of all of it. It's about the consolidation of media and what that's done to the American public. Understand, years around 1940s and 50s to all the way to the 1980s, there were 80 to 85 independent organizations that owned everything. Now it's down to 4. This potentially could make it even worse than that. This comes out of this brainchild that Bill Clinton had. We can't forget that. We can't not be historians here. When he signed the Telecommunications Act, he knew exactly what he was doing. He thought the media that he was going to be the darling of the media, and in fact, what we're faced with now. So this is a train wreck. I got to tell you, it's an absolute train wreck for the American public.
Now, Pap, we all know that in a court of law, precedence is everything. It can have lasting impacts on all future cases that follow. How might this ruling, whatever it may be out of the DOJ, how will it affect other similar mega mergers like Comcast and Disney heading into a potential bidding war over some Fox properties?
The horse is out of the stall, man. It's at a full run. We see, Bayer and Monsanto. We see DuPont and Dow. We see one merger after another because we don't really have any regulators that understand how dangerous it is, or at least they don't care. Interesting thing. As these mergers take place, take a look at the regulators, people from the DOJ, for example, regulators with the FCC, regulators that should be stopping all of this. Take a look, you're going to be fascinated by this, at the number of those regulators that all of a sudden are leaving their job with the government and going to work with the AT&Ts and the Time Warners in the midst of this merger. But, the worst thing about it is we're also looking at the problem of net neutrality. Now the net neutrality problem is on us. These same people, AT&T is going to be able to make a decision, well, let's throttle back independence. Let's throttle them back and let's only have our word out there, and there's no cost to them. The cost is going to be coming to the independents who have to pay more to get their material out there. Now you have AT&T, they own your phones, they own your internet service, and now they own the media. This is a train wreck, and of course corporate media won't say a word about it because corporate media wants this to happen. Corporate media thinks bigger is better, and the people at the top of the food chain, like this cat who's going to sell all of his interests after this is done, become a gazillionaire, he's going to move on, and the public is going to be left with this toxic disaster because we have a DOJ asleep at the wheel. And I don't even know if they're asleep at the wheel. I think they know what they're doing. They really don't care anymore. It's well beyond simply not understanding the facts. They understand what a monopoly is, and that's what we have here.
You hit the nail on the head there, Mike. I mean, as we know, the guys that retire from Capitol Hill, they go right into private corporation and do the same thing and profit off the laws that they just passed, the year before. So, as always, thanks for chiming in with your expertise on this. Mike Papantonio, host of America's Lawyer.
Hey, Now, important point that they made in the video was that you have to look at what they're going to do on a political scale with this merger, because when one of these things go through, or all of them go through with any other company that we're fighting cases to be able to do this. Now, that all connects back to the famine of the word. This is Amos 8. And 11. It says, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but of hearing of the words of the Most High. The Lord's going to send this famine, meaning he's going to take his men that have been preaching this word week in, week out, diligently and in truth off the street. And he's going to leave you to your own devices for not getting this truth when you had a chance. Now, verse 12, and it says, And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro and seek the word of Yahweh and shall not find it, man. Because the Lord's going to take his men off the street. This word's not going to be available, man. You got to get it while it's hot, man. The Lord compared his word to as precious as fine gold, even fine gold to Ophir, man. Now this is Hosea 5:4. It says, They will not frame their doings to turn unto their power, for the spirit of whoredom is in the midst of them, and they have not known Yahweh. And the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. And therefore, it says, Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, fall in their iniquity. Judah also shall fall with them. It says, They shall all go with their flocks and with their herds to seek Yahweh, but they shall not find him. He hath withdrawn himself from them. And how is he doing that, man? He's taking his men off the street. This net neutrality, this big merger with AT&T and Warner, this is big, man. The Lord's gonna take his men off the street soon, man. You got to get this word while it's hot, man. He said he's gonna withdraw his spirit. In 2nd Ezra 5 and 9, it's gonna be the last one I bring out. It says, start at 8. It says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and a fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself. And what's wit? The wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures, the understanding of these scriptures is going to hide itself. And that's coming out through the men of the Lord, the men of Great Millstone, and the ones teaching the same doctrine on down. Starting off with the elder apostles and on down, man. It says, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. And what is it going to withdraw itself, man? Only to the men that had this word before things got horrible, man. It says, and shall be sought of many, and yet not found, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth, man. So great troubles are coming. You better get this word while it's hot. You know, the feminine word is on the way. I want to say double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. Call Halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashem Rakal Kadash, and Abab the Ball.